Over the years, our family's had a share of health problems.
So prescriptions are a part of our life.
Before we went to the big box store.
We both thought it would help us save. But with the long lines and impersonal service, filling prescriptions became a chore. That's when a friend recommended D&H.
Now Tristan knows our prescriptions. Brenda always helps us find the right vitamins. And after Dad's fall, Monica's been a real expert with all our home medical needs. All without the lines.
Trust and service.
That's our D&H.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, April the 21st. Our guest today is somebody who can talk about just about any subject that you bring up. Jack Schultz from the Life Science Center. We're going to talk about something that has been in the news and still is in the news a lot, and that's the Zika virus. Mm-hmm. What is the Zika virus?
Well, it's a family of viruses that cause lots of flu-like diseases. You know, viruses are just sort of a ball of protein with genes inside in the center, with some DNA or RNA in the center. They enter cells by tricking the cell into thinking that they belong inside, and then they reproduce inside the cells.
If you contact the Zika virus, can you become ill enough, sick enough that you die, or is your body going to ward it off?
Not that I know of. I think it's more like flu, and the reports I've seen suggest that it can range from barely noticeable to being quite ill.
But the real danger of the Zika virus is to the unborn child.
Yeah, and that's really different. I mean, people are pretty amazed that that's happening, and people studying the situation still don't really understand how that is working. What you would expect is that the virus may invade nervous system cells while the fetus is developing and prevent those cells from replicating or dividing and the normal brain tissues from developing. And that's sort of what they're seeing in the children that were born of virus-infected women.
Now, does that mean that if a woman was infected by the Zika virus, or she had the virus inside her body, and then she became pregnant, that baby is going to have a problem, or could it not affect the baby?
Well, the probability is really significant. People are still calculating the probability, in other words, the number of babies that are born with and without that condition when you know that mom has had the virus.
What if the father had the Zika virus?
No studies and no evidence of that yet. However, evidently it can be sexually transmitted. So that's a possibility too.
But if you're not having a child and you get the Zika virus, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, flu-like symptoms, and most people are recovering.
How long will that stay in your body?
Oh, I don't know that anybody knows yet, but the patients who have had, minor to moderate symptoms seem to have gotten over it in, a matter of weeks.
If a woman has the Zika virus, she becomes ill, then she gets over, the symptoms are gone.
Yeah.
Is she still infected?
Don't know. Think about the complexities here. What doctors are still trying to find out is when she has to be infected in relation to when she became pregnant. The latest news I saw suggests that she can become infected later than they thought during her pregnancy and have an impact on the child. At first they thought, well, maybe this only happens if she's infected very early in the pregnancy. But very recent studies suggest that no, there can be a significant effect even if she's infected later.
This is frightening when
Scary.
you think about it,
Yeah.
because there really aren't a lot of answers to this.
Not yet, no.
You don't know, and there is no way to treat the child in the womb if the mother is infected with the Zika virus.
There's no way really to treat it at all at the moment. And it'll take years, actually, to develop a vaccine. So this is not going to go away anytime soon. And it's likely to be influenced by what I know is one of your favorite topics, and that is climate change, because the virus is transmitted by a mosquito. And it's one of many viruses that can only be transmitted by a mosquito or some other insect. Okay.
And as our climate is changing, we're becoming warmer, the mosquitoes are moving to new locales where they wouldn't have been in the past.
That's exactly right. The mosquito is already in the U.S. And previous infestations like this suggest that you really only need a couple of mosquitoes. A female mosquito may feed on so many people that it's very likely to pick up viruses that those people are carrying. So even if, say, some people in Florida returned from someplace in South America where they picked up the virus, there are enough mosquitoes that can carry that virus and enough people being bitten by those mosquitoes to pretty much ensure that sometime soon we're going to see a case arise in the U.S. that happened here.
So all it takes is for someone to be in an area where the Zika virus is. They're bitten by a mosquito. They're infected. They come back home, say, to Columbia, Missouri, and then we're in the middle of summertime. A mosquito bites that infected person, flies away, lands on somebody else, bites them. They have transmitted the disease.
That's exactly right, except not yet in Columbia. This is a real specific situation. You need a particular species of mosquito to carry that particular virus. That mosquito is in the U.S., but only in the southern, southeastern states so far. We don't know exactly how far north it will go now, but as you suggest, as the climate warms, it's going to move farther and farther north.
Yeah. All right.
So eventually it'll get here.
It could hop a ride on an airplane.
Sure.
Happen to fly in while the door is open.
That has changed the whole world situation for infectious diseases. The ability of people to get on a plane with a disease and pass it around. It's everything's changed. It used to be that Ebola happens in Africa and only in Africa.
Okay, we're just about out of time, but how did the Zika virus form? Does anybody know?
Nobody knows.
Does anybody know how long it's been around?
No, not yet. But people are working on sequencing its genome, which will tell us what viruses it's related to and likely where it came from. 60% of all infectious diseases started off in an animal someplace. So there's the possibility that the virus is actually, lives in some animal that a mosquito bit and then pass it on to humans.
Okay. If people want more information on this, what do they do?
Look us up at the Bond Life Sciences Center online, and I'll answer the phone.
Just Google it, the Bond Life Science Center.
Yeah, sure.
And you can get all the information you need. One interesting guy, Jack Schultz.
Well, thank you very much, Paul.
All right, the Zika virus. Now, before we came on today, we said next time Jack is here, we're going to talk about what is considered science fiction, but may not be science fiction in the future.
Right.
I asked you, we were both talking about, we watched Star Trek. What about Beam Me Up, Scotty?
Right.
Is that a possibility?
Sure.
You also told me that if we knew how to do it, we could walk through a wall or a door.
Well, you're mostly space, and so is the door, so sure.
Okay, so we'll deal with that next time.
Okay, great.
Don't forget, Jack.
I won't.
Okay, thank you. Jack Schultz, Life Science Center. Tomorrow, Central Missouri Stop Human Trafficking Coalition and the Garden City State School. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director, Ariel Sierra, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Brown.